Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So for today's video I am going to be telling you guys things that no one told you basically when I gave birth. So if you're about to give birth or if you're pregnant, then I would say this is a good video for you. But anyway, so before I gave birth, no one told me the bad things about pregnancy. They only tell you the good things, like, oh, it's so cute when you feel the baby move and blah blah. You know, you get to give birth, and probably the worst thing they tell you about pregnancy is giving birth. So that's what I expected. I expected a cute pregnancy, whatever. And nobody told me about the bad nausea, the bad pains you get, or the baby kicking your ribs or anything like that, and how painful that is too, and that you can't sleep on your back. You have to sleep on your side. You can't sleep on your belly. You know, things like that nobody told me of. So anyways, that was one of the things that no one told me. Another thing was when I gave birth, nobody told me how to push correctly. When you're pushing, you're supposed to push like if you're gonna poop. I know that sounds nasty and whatever, but trust me, when you're giving birth, none of that sounds nasty, because there's so many things that could go wrong, like you pooping on yourself. And I was always in a little bit, baby. I was always afraid of pooping myself when I gave birth to all 3 of my kids, because I was just like, oh my god, it's so embarrassing. But after the first time you give birth, it's kind of like if you shit yourself, then it is what it is, because you're not gonna be the first one or the last one that, you know, shit yourself. But thankfully I didn't. But yeah, so when you're pushing, you're supposed to push like if you're gonna poop, so on your bottom. And when I was pushing the first time with my first son, I was pushing normally like on my belly. I was putting the pressure on my belly, I guess. And so this other nurse that was already experienced came and told me, you're supposed to push like if you're gonna poop. But not every nurse tells you that. They just tell you push or whatever. So yeah, push on your butt like if you're gonna poop. So another thing somebody told me, I mean, another thing nobody told me is that even if you get the epidural, you're not gonna be like any less of a woman than those who go natural, because honestly it just depends on you. Like, do you really want to go through the pain, or do you want to go natural? You know, it's like no one's gonna give you a fucking trophy for going natural or for getting the epidural. So do whatever you want, do whatever you feel like your body can take. And I got the epidural for all 3 of my babies, so that's what I wanted, yeah. And that doesn't mean, you know, any less of a woman than those who went all natural. It just, do whatever, you know, you feel comfortable with. And also when I first gave birth, I was super awkward and shy to ask questions. But trust me, when you have your first baby, you definitely ask as many questions as you can, and don't be shy at all, because you know, when you feel something's going wrong, ask them, let them know, and ask so many questions just so you can be double make sure that everything's going, you know, smooth and good. Because honestly, with my first baby, I was just awkward and I didn't want to ask too many questions. I didn't want to annoy the nurses. But after my second and third baby, I was like, man, fuck that, you know, this is what they're here for, you know, to answer your questions, to make you feel comfortable. And hopefully you guys don't get any nurses that are bitches, because some nurses are not the greatest out there. You know, when I first had my first baby, I remember that there was like some nurses that would look at you like, oh my god, you're too young to have a baby, blah blah blah. So hopefully you guys don't get any of those. But yeah, don't be afraid to ask any questions, or tell them if you feel uncomfortable or if you need something. You know, that's their job, to help you out and help you feel, you know, better and have a smooth delivery. And so yeah. And something that I do regret, and I'm not gonna lie, is having someone that I no longer talk to in the delivery room with me. So when I first had my my first baby, I actually had my mom's friend, which was also my friend. She was older than me, but younger than my mom, if that makes any sense. And I had her in the living room because she came last minute and everything was just chaotic, and she just ended up saying, and you know, I was like, it's okay, I'm gonna keep talking to her. And I don't talk to her anymore. I don't have anything against her, but I just don't talk to her, and she doesn't talk to me. She doesn't check up on Aiden. And I just feel like if you're gonna have someone in the delivery room, it should be your mom, your husband, or someone you really want to experience that, you know, beautiful and crazy and painful experience in your life. Because, you know, it is a blessing to experience someone else's birth. So I feel like don't just have anybody who you're not going to talk to. And you know, I learned my lesson. So when I had my second and third baby, I only had my mom. Oh no, take that back, I only had my husband. But if I could have had two, I would have had my mom and my husband. So I regret having someone that I no longer talk to in my delivery room, basically. But like I said, I don't have anything against her. I just don't talk to her anymore, and I kind of feel like she was there at a special moment in my life, and she doesn't appreciate that, if that makes any sense. Or I don't know if I'm being extra, but I regret having her, you know, because she saw my vagina and everything. So that's like TMI, like for her to have seen that. But I was already in pain, and I was just like, whatever, you know, let's get it over with. So yeah, so that sucks. So another thing that nobody told me was that if you don't dilate, they break your water in order for your contractions to get stronger and dilate faster. So that was painful. I got my water broken with Alice and Alessandro because I was not having my contractions fast enough, and yeah, they broke my water. The doctor put his hand inside and broke my water, and that shit was painful. I literally told my doctor, like, fuck, this shit hurts. And yeah, that's painful. So you could either like dilate and not, and what's it called, not have contractions, or it's just weird. I think I already confused myself. Never mind, I'm just gonna tell you guys the next thing. Oh yeah, so when I first gave birth to Aiden, I actually got the epidural too early. So my water broke, and then I got the epidural, like, I would say when I was like 3 centimeters. And nobody told me that you're not supposed to get it that early, because if you get it too early and you don't give birth fast enough. So imagine I went in the morning at 6 or 7 in the morning to give birth with Aiden because my water had broken, and I was 3 centimeters, and I got the epidural because I was getting contractions, and they were painful, but nobody told me they were going to be even more painful. So I thought, oh my god, you know, these contractions are hurting, so I might as well get the epidural right now. And I gave birth into the whole very next day, like, and the next morning at 5 in the morning I gave birth. So a whole day I was using up my epidural, and I got my epidural too early because I was scared that they wouldn't be able to give it to me anymore. And when I was pushing Aiden out, he was 9 pounds, and I was dying because I had no epidural anymore. He was a big baby, it was my first time, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna literally die. And I literally did pass out and have a hemorrhoid, and I had to get stitches. And like I said, no one tells you like these things, like your vagina could literally, you know, rip apart. Your baby's head could be too big, that's gonna rip your vagina, you're gonna have to get stitches, and nobody told me any of that. So it was scary, I'm not gonna lie. I was traumatized after the first baby. And if it were for me, I wouldn't have gotten pregnant right away with the second or third one, but you know, it happened. So yeah, so another thing that I feel like people mom shame other moms for it is breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is not easy, dude. Like, it's cute and you get to bond with your baby and all of that, but nobody tells you that your nipples are gonna fucking burn or bleed and get chapped, and you have to, you know, put cold ice on it or whatever so they can calm down. And the first couple of months of breastfeeding hurts like a bitch, literally. When I gave birth to Aiden and Alice, I tried to breastfeed Aiden, but he wouldn't latch on, so I just gave him formula. And I remember people telling me, try to breastfeed him, blah blah, you know, it's good for him, blah blah. But I mean, if he wouldn't latch on, and I tried everything, even with the nipple shield, like, there's nothing that I can do, you know. And with Alice, I just I did try to breastfeed her for the first couple of weeks, and then I just gave in, and I said I'm gonna bottle feed her because breastfeeding hurts so much. Now when I had my third baby, I did want to breastfeed, especially with the whole COVID going on. I wanted him to I wanted to try to breastfeed because I really don't plan on having any more kids, and I wanted to, you know, have that bond of breastfeeding with my baby before, you know, I don't have any more kids. So I did breastfeed him and I'm still breastfeeding him. It's been a long 8 months and a long painful, and it gets tiring to breastfeeding. You know, your nipples do be hurting and you're like, oh my god. And the babies are definitely more clingy, but what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter if you bottle feed or breastfeed, as long as your baby's fed, that should be enough. Like, you're doing a great job, mom. If you're breastfeeding, if your baby's fed, that's all that matters. So don't feel bad because you see other moms breastfeed, or don't feel like you're better than any of those moms that bottle feed, you know, because I did both, and it just matters as long as your baby's fed. Not everyone is able to produce a lot of milk, and not everyone wants to breastfeed, you know. It just kind of depends on the person and what their body wants to do and what they want to do with their body. As long as their baby is healthy and fed is all that should matter. So yeah, so those are pretty much the only things that no one really told me when giving birth. Hi baby. I also have wished that I would have taken more pictures.
Mommy,
Your brothers and your sister sleeping. Okay, I can let you borrow it. Here you go. So yeah, I wish I would have taken more pictures of my pregnancy and my bellies and all of that, but I didn't, so that sucks. So yeah, if you're watching this, thanks for watching.